you ever wondered how people choose what prenatal vitamin they're going to take when there's so many different options on the market? Well, if that's you, this video is for you. I will be covering the 5 most important things to look for when shopping around and my 2 rules of thumb and how I got to the prenatal that I'm currently taking. Throughout my whole pregnancy and even after I gave birth, I was taking some prenatal vitamins that I got from Costco. It was affordable, it was easy to get, and my doctor had told me that the brand of vitamins that you get doesn't really matter, it's all the same. Come to find out, that's actually not true. When it comes to supplements, any kind of supplements, there are very little regulations, so you really need to do your research to know exactly what you're putting into your body. I didn't look into my prenatal vitamins until after I had given birth to my first baby. During my first pregnancy, I was seeing a chiropractor, and he also practices homeopathic medicine. After I gave birth, I felt like my hormones were all over the place, not at all balanced. So I decided to do the computer test that he offers so I can get some homeopathic remedy for that. The cool thing about this test, though, is that it can also test what vitamins you're currently taking to see if it's having any effect on your body at all and if your body is actually absorbing the nutrients. Well, it turned out my Costco prenatal wasn't doing anything for me. My body was just having a really hard time absorbing all the nutrients. And so the search began. The next 5 things I'm going to talk about are the most important things that I look for when shopping for a prenatal. Number one, it can't have folic acid. So I look for specifically for it to say folate. Folic acid is a synthetic form of folate, so your body is going to have a much harder time absorbing that and turning it into a usable form. And if you have the MTHFR variant, your body's going to have an even harder time converting it, which can lead to a buildup in your bloodstream, and that may cause some serious problems down the line. Number two is magnesium. Magnesium is so important during pregnancy, but there's different forms. I look for magnesium glycinate because that is the easiest form for your body to absorb. Number three is vitamin D. I look for it to be in the form of D3 because that is the easiest form for your body to absorb. And bonus if there is also K2 in the vitamin because that helps, that makes it easier for you to absorb the vitamin D as well. Number four is iron. I prefer my vitamin to not have iron because too much can lead to toxicity, which can cause other problems. And for me, I also hate taking iron because it causes a lot of nausea and constipation. When you're pregnant, you're already dealing with all those things, so you don't want to add another thing that will make it harder for you. Okay, and last one, number five, is omega 3. Omega 3 is super important, but I don't like it to be in my prenatal. I prefer to take it as a separate supplement because I want to make sure that I'm getting enough of it. But if this is too much to remember, the following are my 2 rules of thumb when shopping for a prenatal vitamin. Number one, the serving size can't be a single tablet. I don't trust any brand that claims that they can fit all of the nutrients necessary during pregnancy in a single tablet. For example, the prenatal that I take, the serving size is 6 tablets, which is a lot, I know. Number two is I look for the vitamin to be organic because that will ensure that there's no synthetic chemicals or pesticides, which a non-organic can't promise. But even better than all of this is a prenatal that's based on whole foods. So after doing all this research and trying different brands, I came across this company called Birthright, and their prenatal is all real food, except for magnesium, which is in the form of magnesium glycinate, which we already talked about, is the preferred form. This prenatal has beef liver, fish eggs, colostrum, and other ingredients that will ensure you get all the nutrients you need during pregnancy. These are all foods that are so healthy, but I would never choose to eat them. So I'm glad that I can take them in pill form. And also knowing that because they are real foods, my body can absorb it a lot easier than all the other brands out there. The serving size for this prenatal is 6 tablets, as I had mentioned earlier in this video, but I actually only take 3. I am a firm believer in that you know your own body and you can figure out whether you need the full 6 tablets or if you can do less. I was fortunate enough to be working with my chiropractor at this point, and he was able to tell me that I only needed 3 tablets. And after experimenting with different doses, I could see that 3 is definitely what I needed without spending more money and taking more than I needed. No matter what prenatal vitamin you decide to take, I do highly recommend that you get your labs done. Um, because it can show you if you're still deficient in something else. For example, I'm taking the birthright prenatals, but after getting my labs done, I learned that I was still deficient in vitamin D, and so now I'm taking both my prenatal and an additional vitamin D3 supplement. I'm so happy that I did the work and I researched and I figured out what vitamin works for me, because so I did all of this work while I was still breastfeeding my first baby, and then I got pregnant again, and I just remember how awful my first trimester was with my first baby and how nauseous and sick I felt the whole time. But the second time around, I didn't feel very nauseous. Like, I was able to live my life and not feel awful the whole time. And I strongly believe that that was because I switched my prenatal and figured out what worked for me and what didn't. And even just beyond the nausea, I also saw a huge improvement in my moods and um, just not being so cranky all the time like I was with my first pregnancy. I'd like to end this video by encouraging you to do the work, figure out what prenatal works for you, what doesn't work for you, and get the best out there, because ultimately it's going to keep you healthy and keep your baby healthy. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from this video, and if you found some value from it, please like and subscribe.